Hello. This is Antya from Byte Shuffle. Thank you for always watching my videos. Some viewers might notice that Burning Wish isn't included, but many of you might have been wondering how to play in an ANT mirror match. In this video, I will answer those questions. As an unconventional ANT player, I have no intention of criticizing other skilled ANT players. Please take this as just one opinion from an unconventional player and listen with a grain of salt. Here is the deck list we will be using this time. Even if it means going down to 6 cards, I will mulligan because there's a chance of getting a stronger hand. Put Lotus Petal on the bottom. Since it's likely a non-blue deck, we need to speed up the game. Search for basic lands to avoid wasteland. Let's look for mana acceleration. If I don't find it, shuffle the deck. It turned out to be an unexpected mirror match. The competition begins to see who can use Veil of Summer more effectively. Since we have some downtime, I'd like to explain how the opponent's deck works. The opponent neutralizes Vexing Bauble. While accelerating mana, the opponent will also build up storm count. The opponent will use the graveyard to execute our combo. With the storm count sufficiently high, the opponent will cast Tendrils of Agony. Before sideboarding, I'd like to review the list we used. First, the conclusion. I will explain it step by step. After sideboarding in an ANT mirror match, these are the cards you need to be mindful of. First, there are graveyard hate cards like Tormod's Crypt, Surgical Extraction, and Nihil Spellbomb. To bypass these cards, aiming for the ad nauseam route is ideal. Next are cards like Vexing Bauble, Flusterstorm, Duress, and Thoughtseize. We counter these with Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer is in high demand. So as additional measures against Vexing Bauble, we'll keep Boseiju, Who Endures. If you're using the Burning Wish variant, you probably don't need to keep Boseiju, Who Endures. Boseiju, Who Endures also works as a countermeasure against preemptively placed Tormod's Crypt and Nihil Spellbomb. Let's take a moment to explain Vexing Bauble. This card interferes with your Chrome Mox, Lotus Petal, and Lion's Eye Diamond. However, if you use it yourself, you can ignore its effect by playing 0-mana artifacts beforehand. If it becomes a nuisance, you can convert it into a card draw or ignore it with Veil of Summer, giving you some control over its impact. Additionally, in an ANT mirror match, both players will be casting discard spells at each other. In a depleted board state with empty hands, it can also serve as a reliable draw source. Since we've brought up discard spells, let me add some more details. In an ANT mirror match, the common practice is to cast discard spells at each other, so it's standard to play 0-mana artifacts beforehand. However, to punish this, the opponent might include cards like By Force or Prismatic Ending. This becomes a tactical mind game post-sideboarding, so adjust accordingly in the moment. Next, I'd like to discuss Veil of Summer, a key card in the game. In an ANT mirror, to counter Veil of Summer, you can use discard spells like Duress or Thoughtseize. Typically, the approach is to use Burning Wish to search for Grapeshot as a countermeasure. Therefore, I'd also like to explain Burning Wish. The criteria for choosing this card are: do I always have to connect it to the sideboard cards? Will the game be prolonged? This can also be referred to as increasing the number of effective cards. Dealing with Surgical Extraction, those are the 3 key points. Next, let's discuss the advantages. It can handle permanents from the main board. It can search for combo pieces from the sideboard. Even if Infernal Tutor is removed by Surgical Extraction, your plan won't collapse. You can counter Veil of Summer directly from the main board. These are the 4 advantages. This time, I'd like to delve a bit deeper into point 4. I'd like to discuss 2 scenarios: when attacking and when defending. When attacking, I need to use Ad Nauseam or the graveyard to build my storm count to 20. Therefore, if my life total is low or my graveyard is locked down, it's difficult to build my storm count to 20. Next, let's discuss when you're on the defensive. First, let's say I cast Dark Ritual, followed by another Dark Ritual, and then Ad Nauseam. Then, the opponent casts Veil of Summer. When their turn comes, your opponent will target you, now depleted, with. The opponent can easily build up their storm count and use Burning Wish to find Grapeshot, securing their victory. From this, we can see that using Burning Wish in an ANT mirror match provides a significant advantage. At this point, you might be wondering why I personally choose not to use Burning Wish. Therefore, I'd like to explain why I choose not to use Burning Wish. The disadvantages of this card are: it takes up valuable space in the sideboard. I can't reuse Burning Wish with cards like Past in Flames or Gia's Will. Using Burning Wish introduces a delay, causing you to fall behind by a tempo. Especially in the current fast-paced Lagacy environment, I believe deck speed is a crucial factor. Therefore, I use a list that doesn't include Burning Wish. However, in an ANT mirror match, as I mentioned earlier, the key point is how to deal with Veil of Summer. So, I decided to take a different approach. Detection Tower negates the opponent's hexproof. It can neutralize effects like Veil of Summer and Leyline of Sanctity. This idea wasn't originally mine, a friend suggested it to me. I can search for this card using these cards. My previous list included 2 mainboard copies of Beseech the Mirror, but due to sideboard considerations, I've replaced them with Wishclaw Talisman. This card also has the advantage of being able to perform well against Reanimator decks when played proactively. As previously mentioned, unless you either utilize the graveyard or build up to 20 storm count with Ad Nauseam, you won't be able to achieve victory during the attack phase. To neutralize cards like Past in Flames and Gia's Will, I include graveyard hate cards. The opponent does not use cards like Daze or Wasteland, so they do not employ a mana denial strategy. Since the value of basic lands decreases, I will cut them from the deck. I will reduce the number of Cabal rituals in the deck, due to their potential vulnerability to the opponent's graveyard hate cards. Although it's a bit weak, I'll keep it because it has card draw, lands, and disruption. The effect of Surveil allows you to leave the card on top of your library. To restrict the opponent's 0-mana artifacts, I will cast Vexing Bauble. When executing a combo in the early turns, I often incorporate Lion's Eye Diamond, reducing the likelihood of instant defeat. A fierce exchange of Veil of Summer has begun. I will search for mana acceleration. I will stack Gia's Will, then Ad Nauseam, followed by Volcanic Island, and draw in that order. Instead of searching for disruption cards with Ponder, I'll aim for a victory through the Ad Nauseam route. Although they might have Flusterstorm, if they don't, it leads directly to victory, so I'll go for it. If the opponent have Flusterstorm, I'll use Past in Flames to launch another attack. I will accelerate mana while also building up storm count. I will neutralize Vexing Bauble. With a hand disruption spell, I will check if they have Veil of Summer or Surgical Extraction. I took out Infernal Tutor. I'll use the graveyard to execute the combo. I will accelerate mana while building up the storm count. With the storm count high enough, I'll cast Tendrils of Agony. I should have activated the detection tower instead of taking shortcuts. I'll relaunch my attack since I can use the resources in my graveyard. I was outplayed by my opponent's excellent moves. I activate Detection Tower. I cast Tendrils of Agony once again. I will keep this hand, as it seems viable unless they achieve a turn 1 kill. The effect of Surveil sends the card to the graveyard. I will use a hand disruption spell to gauge the opponent's situation. I will use a hand disruption spell to assess my opponent's hand. Since I have too many tutors, I took out some mana acceleration. From my perspective, if the opponent uses Infernal Tutor to stack mana acceleration, it feels like they're giving me a time warp. Since I have some leeway, I'll take the risk and shut down the opponent's graveyard. I will search for mana acceleration. I'll stack Ponder, Ad Nauseam, and Beseech the Mirror in that order and then draw. I will launch a swift attack before the opponent can establish their position. I discarded Gia's Will during the cleanup step. Although the opponent might have Flusterstorm ready, I can't use the graveyard because of Nihil Spellbomb, so. When searching for Detection Tower with a tutor, a significant amount of black mana is required. Depending on the opponent's play, the mana generated by Cabal Ritual can vary, so I'll cast Ad Nauseam. I saved Dark Ritual for later. I will neutralize Vexing Bauble. I will search for Detection Tower. Since I can't use the graveyard, I'll use Beseech the Mirror to build up storm count. I activate Detection Tower. Thank you for watching up to this point. I apologize for the frequent play mistakes. I hope to improve at MTG together with everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a thumbs up. See you in the next one. This has been Antya.